In this video, I wanted to talk to you about what you need to know if you're thinking about buying a home or condo and you are a pet lover. So stay tuned. All right, what's up everybody? In this video, I wanted to talk about things you should probably know if you're looking at buying a home or condo and you're a pet lover. Okay, so real quick, if you're thinking about moving to, from, or within San Diego, don't be shy about getting a hold of me. I'm getting tons of emails, calls, and texts, and I absolutely love it. If there's anything I can do to help you reach your realistic goals, I will 100% make it happen. And if you get a second and you want to learn everything about San Diego, like where to eat, sleep, work, and play, go ahead and click subscribe and tap that little bell. That way you're notified every single time I put out one of these little videos. Okay, so if you're anything like me, you love your pets. In fact, my dogs run the household. If you're thinking about buying a home or a condo in an HOA governed community, you need to check the pet rules and regulations and restrictions before you purchase that property. The reason being is that a lot of HOA associations or a lot of the HOA rules are going to have specific rules and restrictions regarding pets. Common restrictions and rules are going to be types of pets you can own, the number of pets you can own. There's going to be weight restrictions sometimes. There's all kinds of little things you can find sometimes in those rules. And if you're a pet lover, pet owner like me, you don't want to buy a property and realize all of a sudden you've got a pet problem. Because as I'm about to show you, it's a lot easier to ask a simple question up front as opposed to buying a property, going through the process, closing escrow, and then realizing you have a pet restriction problem. And on a quick side note, let's say you forgot to ask that question up front. The way the due diligence or escrow period is set up, during escrow, you are delivered a set of HOA documentation, which is going to include the rules and restrictions. You would find pet restrictions within that documentation packet. But the problem is if you discover the problem at this point, you're not only going to lose valuable time, you're going to lose money. So it's much easier to ask the question up front before you go into escrow on a property that's not going to allow or has restrictions against the type of pets you might own. And then for any of you out there looking in downtown San Diego, for example, I actually threw in a link below that you can click on. It's going to take you to a page that has a list of all the buildings downtown and all the different restrictions on pets, condos in the city. There's several different scenarios that usually happen if you find yourself in the middle of a restriction or rule violation with pets. And they look like this. Say you live in a building or complex or a neighborhood that has a governing HOA and they institute new rules. Keep in mind, you're a part of the HOA and you are a part of deciding which rules and voting on which rules go into play and which ones don't. But let's say there's new rules and regulations that are enacted. As a current owner, what's usually going to happen is you're going to be grandmothered in, and going to be allowed to keep whatever said pets you have. Okay, so the second scenario is really the reason I put this video together and to help everybody kind of avoid this situation. But let's say a person buys a condo, closes escrow, moves in, and they realize, or it's found they're in violation of the pet policy. The Homeowners Association can actually force you through court injunction to remove the pet from the premises. You can imagine if that happens, that would be awful and that would be a huge problem. So make sure to check those pet rules up front. Worst case, if you're in escrow, don't forget to check the rules out with your HOA documentation package. Super important if you're a pet owner. And it's important to point out that in any condo or any home or any HOA controlled or governed neighborhood, service animals are always allowed. HOAs can be powerful in certain aspects, but they're not allowed to override the law. And the law says you can have service animals. They perform a need and they're a necessity to some. Okay, and so the last point I wanted to make is that the HOA is absolutely within its rights to create rules and regulations regarding pets. Some of the good rules that you can put into play, well, I think they're good rules, would be one, let's say you go to walk your dogs. Those dogs a lot of time have to be on a leash, at least in the building complex or in the neighborhood. Another good rule would be that pet owners are required to pick up their pet waste. That is so gross, but some people leave that stuff. Anyway, I hope this video gives you a little more insight or at least things to be keeping in mind when you're buying a condo or a home that falls under rules and regulations from any particular HOA. It's super important. I mean, for me, it's if I can't bring my pets, then I don't want to be there anyway. That's a deal breaker. It's probably going to be the same way for a lot of you. And don't forget, if you're thinking about moving to, from, or within San Diego, don't be shy about getting a hold of me. I'm getting tons of emails, calls, and texts, and I absolutely love it. If there's anything I can do to help you reach your real estate goals, I will 100% make it happen. And see you on the next video.